Okay. So, hello everybody. Thank you very much for coming back. And we hope that you enjoyed lunch break and this very short walk together, the guided walk. And we'll continue in the afternoon in the Buddha Castle, this guided walk. And beforehand, we still have a few sessions. So the lectures will start with a particular form of a lecture, which will be due to an unforeseen duty for Paola Viola, who really excuses because of her absence. However, we have received a video, so everything was recorded as Troy Scott Smith as well sent the presentation, but there it would have been just a presentation and we didn't want it to be the voice of him. So, but however, here Paola Viola made a video, so it would be a greeting in this way and also the presentation, a few minutes. So thank you very much for your attention of listening to this video, and then we'll continue with the live sessions and the further two lectures, and then we'll go for the walk together. Okay, and please, Ana Rosa, would you be so kind to introduce Paola Viola?
Sure. Okay, so I have to ask her, once I have the opportunity, if her name is Viola Paola or Paola Viola. To tell you the truth, I never know if it's just she writes the last name before the name, because both could be names. Maybe, Marco, you can help me with that. Viola Paola? Oh, well. So I'm sorry. Okay, so Viola Paola is the salvaguarda de valorazioni del complesso del Parco Regia di Caserta. Did I say it well, Bianca, Marco? Unfortunately, you know that in Italy, you are on the elections process time. And due to that, she cannot be here today because, well, she really wanted to come, her and also her director. They were very much willing to be here, but they have other, political related obligations. So that's why she sent us this video, because she wasn't even sure if she could be online at this time. So I hope you enjoy it in any case, and I leave it with her. I leave you with her.
Hello everyone, I introduce myself. I'm Paola Viola and I work at Regia di Caserta, where I take care of the safeguarding and enhancing the park and the English garden. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to attend this assembly despite the distance. I bring you the greeting of the director Tiziana Maffei. I'm sorry to be able to participate only online, but I will not miss next opportunities. For focus historical gardens, lights and shadows, I will present the new 3-year management plan for the gardens that the Regia is preparing and that will soon be the subject of a specific tender. I go to share with you my presentation. Okay. The new management plan is composed of 2 phases. The first of studies and the second operational. First phase is the knowledge plan. And I want to present very briefly the history and the main features of the gardens of the Regia. Regia di Caserta is a Santos residence of the Bourbon dynasty, commissioned by King Charles in 1750. The project was entrusted to the architect Luigi Vanvitelli, and the construction of the Regia began in 1752. After the death of Luigi Vanvitelli in 1773, his project was carried out by his son Carlo, and the construction of the park began in 1753. And now, after the Regia, architecture and greenery is the same theme. The park is a synthesis of all types of gardens, part of pre-existing Renaissance gardens with Bosco Vecchio, with Castelluccia and Peschiera Grande, a big fish pond, that Vanvitelli incorporated into his project. Baroque garden with geometrical layout, plant architectures, and monumental fountains or Grand Canal. And English garden landscape or romantic garden from the end of the 18th century. The park covers an area of about 100 hectares plus the 80 hectares of San Silvestro wood, forming a suggestive landscape system in which different types of gardens coexist with specific conservation needs. This is the plant of the gardens with the main components of the Royal Park and the English Garden. And now the reasons for the change for the new management plan. The Reggia di Caserta represents a complex museum system, and it includes the palace and the gardens that we call Green Museum. The use of museum and conservation needs make a knowledge plane essential for future management. The new 3-year plan, innovative and experimental for a state museum in Italy, is an expression of the need for pragmatic and organic management of historic gardens in the medium and long term. Let's see main problems we face in the management of gardens. Presence of ancient tree specimens, consequence of improvised past intervention, failure to update in field of scientific knowledge, for example, climate change, need for specialized professional, etc. And I want to show you some questions very important for the Regia, as the numbers of the park. So you can see that it is very big, and we have a lot of visitors. Analyze the problems. The plan has two essential goals: optimal technical planning of maintenance and reintegration activities, obtain and store information that simplify future planning to preserve the original idea of the garden in a more sustainable way. The knowledge plane has two essential assumptions: the reference legislation and guidelines, and the general knowledge plane of the site. The general knowledge plane of the site is the cognitive and descriptive part of the park, and it's built based on surveys and research to obtain and organize historical news and investigation, bibliographic research and publication, archiving iconographic documentation as maps, images, photo, paintings, census of vegetation of various components, and relief in different formats. So we can obtain definition and analysis of the historic, cultural, and landscape specificities of the site. This is the essential reference legislation. To constantly update the knowledge plane, the Regia put in place the so-called new actions for investigating and deepening the main components of the site. Census of trees and vegetation, relief of the avenues, plant survey with particular attention to water system of the site that was made by Bamfi, relief of architectural elements. And now, historical research is required as a basic element for every project proposal. The knowledge plan must be related to a delicate balance of the historic gardens and its necessary scientific research and enhancement activities. For example, agreements with universities or public and research bodies for a census of monumental trees, collection of seeds and other basic materials of ancient and plants to increase the number of specimens. Phytosanitary monitoring, scientific study about historical botanical collection, monitoring of protected animal species, educational activities as olfactory visit or tactile visit, and competition of ideas for the creation of contemporary artwork that reuse plant material destined for disposal. For example, this is Camellia census with cutting of specimens and activities at nursery, or fish transfer from Castelluccia to Peschiera, and phytosanitary monitoring against Asian bug. Educational activities in a particular way with the children, and very important maintenance interventions on monumental trees. Second phase of the new management plan about a project framework and operational framework. And it has a main point of reference in Article 29 of the Code of Cultural Heritage and Landscape. The application of this article shall entail the definition of specific programmatic reference tool for ordinary and extraordinary maintenance interventions, and entrusting the maintenance to highly qualified performers supervised by a construction manager specializing in restoration and management of historic gardens. Main goals of management plan: protect and safeguard the cultural and landscape heritage of the park and promote its sustainable development, address the maintenance needs, ensure accessibility and expanded use of gardens. For the drafting of plan, the following steps were necessary: analyze the historical, cultural, and landscape specificities of the site, develop an analysis of the current state of the site, critically evaluate the current management of the site with particular attention to the green maintenance services and its costs. This is the structure of the plan. The plan must be updated over time. It plans action and interventions through the guiding project and operational plans, and control the results, integrates the action and interventions. So we can see the phases: cognitive phase, evaluation phase, design phase, and operational phase. In the design phase, we consider the management units and the quality goals. To realize the goals of the plan, the gardens have been divided into constituent parts with specific characteristics and considered as a management unit. For each unit, it will be possible to put in place very important interventions. And for each unit, the plan, according to the intervention needs, provides a specific guide project. Through the project, the plan prefigures the result of the intervention, guides the intervention, and indicates the final goals as the image that you want to recover or recreate. For each guide project, have been drawn up evaluation sheet about problems, project sheet about goals. In the operational phase, we consider the operational interventions plans that define the restoration, recovery, care, and maintenance action of the various components identified in the unit. The operational interventions plans are 8. For example, conservation, care, and maintenance of turf grass and grasslands, conservation, care, and maintenance of thematic gardens, care and maintenance of avenues, paths, etc. Last phase is about a monitoring plan, and it's a form of control. About expected results, what do we expect in practice? Outline in an organic and a pragmatic way the new green management policy that the Regia di Caserta was to pursue over the medium and long term, also for a correct use. Innovative management of the Green Museum with attention to sustainability and respect for the environment with ecological correct choices. Also about the climate change, that is very important for us. Obtain an optimal technical planning of maintenance and reintegration activities, compatible both with the nature of the place and with the productive and modern use of the park. Obtain and store information that simplifies future planning and the application of solution with which to perceive the original idea of the garden in a sustainable way. And so promote the sharing of information between related realities as a reference for a further contribution to the adoption of correct choices. And I hope to have clearly explaining the essential steps for the elaboration of the management plan of our beautiful and delicate gardens. And I'm pleased to greet you with a sentence by Goethe, taken from his Italian journey. The garden of the park are beautiful, in perfect harmony with the strip of land that is all a garden. I wish you good work and thank you all for your patience and attention, and see you soon.
So I have the pleasure to introduce you to Maciek, and I can try to do my best with Zsolnyerczuk.
Żołnierczuk. It's very fine. It's fine.
At least it made you smile. So I'm very happy to welcome you also from Milano this time. And we are very happy to listen to your presentation in live. Thank you for making it and joining us in here. So please follow this lecture in person and gather your questions, because then we'll have another lecture, but then we have the discussion session. So feel free to gather all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your introduction. And I'm very glad to be here and could present some information about our complex at Wilanów. Today I will concentrate on green and blue infrastructure. I think that we can start exactly from this view of Wilanów Palace, because as you can see, in the main point of this slide is Wilanów Lake. It is old Oxbow Lake of Vistula River. But I would like to show you one more thing. It is this corner, and this is what's going on over here. The city is coming closer and closer to us, and we're trying to find some solutions what to do with this problem. If we look to this sketch, we will see that Wilanów Palace is on the overflow terrace, but we have got also the floodplain terrace. And over there we have got, for example, the Mauritian Nature Reserve. And since ages there was a riparian forest. But today we know that we want to protect from the floods, yeah? So we have also and as a result, our forest starts to change. And right now, our forest, we can say it's a more broad-lived forest than riparian forest. If we look to our hydrological system of Wilanów, we will see that our complex is surrounded by the waters. The effect of this is that we are one of the oases of the coolness at our district. If you look to this map, you will see that is our complex, and this is almost the only complex of the coolness at this district. And we would like to protect this area. That's why at our area we have got lots of forms of monument and nature protection. But I would like to ask, is it enough? Let's see what has happened at the Odra River. There were also lots of nature protection. The Odra River is this blue line on this slide, and probably you heard what has happened. We have got the ecological disaster. Over 100,000 of tons of died fish. Fishes died, and nobody knows what has happened. Let's see what is going on at Wilanów. At Wilanów, on the left side, you will see the situation at 2001. At that time, we have got over 14 citizens. After 16 years, the situation is totally different. Right now, we have got 40 citizens at our district. The water problem that we have on our area has got also a long history. You can see some historical photos over here, some bottles. On the left side, you can see some oil, petrol pollution, and some documents that museums write to the local government. And this is the situation that we have right now, after the 40 years. It's almost the same, because we also have got the bottles, the petrol elements. We also sometimes have got even a toilet in our stream. We have got a foam in the stream, and our stream has got different colors. For example, the green one. Yeah, this is the picture from that I made 1 week ago. Yeah. If we want to make some categories of the problems, we can say that one of the problems is the responsibility of the water. Because you can see that there's lots of elements connected with the water and lots of institutions connected with the responsibility. But there's one element that no one wants to be irresponsible. It's over here. And these are some elements that are close to the ground. Yeah. Other problems are connected with the owner. You can see over here that in a small part of this stream, we have got 3 owners. Another problem is that the river that we have, the stream that we have over here, is not a water in documents that we have at the government, but it is a wasteland area. Another thing is that the lake that we have is not is non-following waters. It's only the water. We were trying to analyze the sediments that we have at the lake, and only from this small area we should take off over 770 those tracks, like over here. Yeah, it's a lot of sediments that we should remove from our lake. Of course, it costs a lot. Another thing is the problem with the floods. Over here you can see the result. Some paths at our park are under the water, and some of our trees are starting to dancing when there is a flood, and of course they fall down. So there is a next question that I would like to ask. What can a museum do? Of course, we can just wait. I don't know, maybe we should buy a popcorn and make some photos and just put it on the social media, and this will be enough. But not in the example of Wilanów Palace. We are trying to make something more for our waters. For example, we make the analyze. Over here, it should be a movie, of course. And we are trying to find some place where we can put our water where there is a flood, for example. And on the top, you will see just over here the situation of nature reserve. And of course, we can't make a natural flood at this area. So we decided to make a virtual flood over here. And as a result, we find some hydrological system of this area. So we find some channels that were over there. And we are thinking to rebuild them. And I have to say that these are historical elements. Because over here on the left side, you can see the documents that have got almost 80 years. And we can see over there also some elements that we find at our analyze. Another thing is to make a documentation. Since 1 year, we are making a documentation from drone. We want to show our hydrological system at different times at the year. Another thing is a monitoring system. This is our own monitoring system. We want to know what is the level of the water, what is a pollution, what is the temperature of this water. And we make some rescue plans. We prepare such a rescue plans for water, for our animals, and for our trees. And how does it look like? This is a simply card where you can find out the categories of the tree. You will see the graphic and description, what is going on. And on the bottom side, there are activities and the persons who should make those activities. And of course, the contact to those persons. Sorry, there is a personal data protection. I can't show you the more information about this. One of the newest idea is retention. Retention, it is some kind of rain garden, because we just buy few new buildings. One of them has got a roof that is 1,000 square meter, and we decided to make some irrigation system where there was no irrigation system. Of course, we would like to use it not only to irrigation, but also to the education. That's why we would like to plant the species that are characteristic for our plant community and that are surrounding us. Another thing, these are public consultation with the local government and cooperation with the Warsaw Greenery Board. In this year, we make some things in a Sobieski channel. We also make some cooperation with the company Geberit and Koło. In this year, it was a competition for such a simple thing like a toilet at our park. Yeah. But one of the award was for ecological things. And in and I would like to show you a short movie about our oh, yeah. Sorry. Complex. So this is a kind of part of our work with using the drone. So you can see that drone is not only to the documentation, strict documentation, but it could be also some kind of promotion movie. And well, now it looks beautiful, but what will be in the future? Well, I don't know, really. Thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you very much, Masier. The next lecture is in charge of, it's a double lecturer's lecture, in charge of Attila Dick, Director, Curator at the Foundation of Transylvanian Traditions in Romania, and also Albert Fekete, Curator at the Hungarian Garden Heritage Foundation, our hosts, and Director at the Institute of Landscape Architecture, Urban Planning and Garden Art here in Hungary. So welcome, the floor is yours. Sorry, I didn't mention the name of the lecture, Challenges and Perspectives in the Renewal and Use of the Rákóczi Bamfi Castle Garden Ensemble, from Yolo.
Yolo.
Yeah, so it is Yolo at the end. And after this 15 to 20 minutes presentation, we really appreciate that you respect the time, even though it's going to be a two-people presentation. I know that you rehearsed a lot, so I'm sure that it's going to be well. Thank you very much. Then, in this way, we could still have a little bit of time to exchange. Otherwise, of course, the program will continue, and still we can exchange about this topic. So we're listening. Thank you.
Greetings for all. I will be short because in our presentation, Albert will talk about, you will speak for you about the Rákóczi Bamfi Castle's garden. I'm just a sort of opening band for the main concert. And I will tell you that our foundation, Erdélyi Hagyományok Alapítvány, Foundation of Transylvanian Tradition, was established in 2014, and its statutory aims and objectives are protect historical monuments, use them for social, artistic, cultural, and educational purposes, promote the traditional values of Transylvania, and also promote the peaceful coexistence of the nations of the region. And we are putting into practice these aims related to the castle of Castel Rákóczi Bamfi from Yolo. Yolo is a little municipality about 70 kilometers from Kolozsvár, so-called capital of Transylvania. It's a very old building. The oldest part was built in the 40th century for the Bishop of Transylvania. Later, from the 60th century onwards, becomes the property of several Hungarian noble families. It's an interesting detail that Queen Isabella, the widow of Szapolyai János, was also here a short period in 1543 when she had to leave Buda, which was occupied by Turks. It was several substantial renovation reconstruction during the years. Some because the new owner wanted to put his imprint on the building. Other times was caused by a major fire, and even the fight, sort of civil war between Labancis and Kurucis. The present form of the castle, it was realized in 1838. It's sort of Renaissance touch with 4 bastions. After the Second World War, the castle was confiscated and was used by various state institutions. It was reclaimed by the heirs of the former owners in 2002, and after a 10-year court process, they got it, and was taken in 2015 into administration by our foundation. Immediately, we initiated an extensive research work with art historians and archaeologists, and on the basis of which works were done up the construction plans. We obtained financial support from European Union, but the expenses are very high, and we have to supply massively those money. We start the works in 2080, and according to the plans, we will finish it in about a year. We intend to have a cultural center here in the castle, and not just the castle, because we have the garden of the castle, and also we have ruins of Roman military castrum and Vicius, built during the reign of Emperor Trajan. Firstly by earth and wood, and later it was enlarged and strengthened with stonework. This cultural center will have permanent exhibition halls and traveling exhibitions, concert and other cultural performances, art creation camps, festivals focusing on traditional values, conferences. And it's an important aim for us to have interethnic cultural center. Yolo is in the junction point of 2 regions, one Kalotaszeg, mostly inhabited by Hungarians, and the other Moc Vidék, inhabited mostly by Romanian. And maybe we are lucky having these Roman ruins near this very important Hungarian-related historical monument. And a few words more. Establishing the function of a cultural center, we started even during the construction or the preparation of the construction with a series of events, mostly in the garden. We had one single exception, which was in the building. The building structure wasn't enough strong to let people, but we had Hungarian-Romanian landscape architecture mini-conference with the participation of Agnes and Albert and them colleagues, and we had some invited specialists from Romania. In the castle, we had once the Hungarian Day of the well-known Transylvanian International Film Festival with two film presentations, several classical music festivals. We had even 2 times an international orienteering competition. And the major event is one festival we had 4 times already. It's named Castle Garden Festival, and it's reflected the most of our future plans. That festival was aimed to families with children, with a lot of programs for children. We had a tent of medieval crafts and games, book presentation, various cultural events, but also a tent of gastronomic, art crafts, etc. And it was a very, very big joy to see how get live the garden, being full with peoples, adults, children, and many dogs. So we hope with help of you, we can continue the renewal of the garden too. And let's hope that we can meet at Yolo sometimes, maybe 2-3 years. Thank you very much. We have the word.
Thank you very much, Attila. And before, good afternoon. Before I start the second part of this presentation, let me to show some pictures prepared by Attila, but we forgot to step. So this is the castle we are talking about. Maybe this is the best picture to show that real Renaissance structure mentioned by Attila, also with the 4 bastions on the corner of the buildings, and the building, in spite of the renewals made in the last few centuries, still preserve this original Renaissance structure. And this picture from the bottom already show the renewal of the roof in process. We were asked by the foundation to not show very much pictures about the renewal because it is forbidden for some reasons, you know. As Attila mentioned, we have as a monument here not just the castle building, but we have the Roman ruins in the garden, and we have the castle park, which has about 14 hectares. Some pictures about the events mentioned by Attila already started a few years ago, and now I have to mention here that we started our cooperation with the foundation in 2017, so we have 5 years experience already in this field. Now I would like to start the second part of the presentation to give an overview about the historic garden researches we did in the last 20 years in the Carpathian Basin. We think that is a very good framework, and the result of these over 300 locations we investigated from a historical point of view, and we surveyed on the site as well, can offer a really strong basis to have enough information and experiences what was here in the last few centuries, and on what we can set up new developments. It's very important to highlight that, as you can see, the landscape architecture, as we know, it's a profession which which is a system, very strong system based and system oriented, and that's why we made all our researches for the whole Carpathian Basin, not only for Hungary, because it's very important to know a larger historical and geographical background, and of course in this way we can even understand better the processes contributing to establishment and development of the castle gardens. Why castle gardens? I can ask even from you, because the European route of historic gardens, as I know, is composed mainly by castle gardens, but historic gardens are not just or exclusively castle gardens. There are many branches related to historic gardens, and still we are talking mainly about castle gardens. Of course, the main reason is that the castle gardens are the biggest and the most representative historic garden category in Carpathian Basin as well. The castle gardens are very important because they are multi-layered units and presenting several values and attractions. And of course, we have an existing scientific background to research this kind of heritage. And the next question is why we are here presenting the Requisi Bamfi Castle Garden from Yolo. There are some reasons you can read here. All these reasons are very important, but I still would like to focus on the most professional part of this list. I mean the last two points: the high heritage value of the location and the already existing and very well functioning professional corporations, which is, I think, the basic of future development. Let's say a few words about the existing garden heritage. First of all, I have to mention here that not only the castle has Renaissance roots, but even the environment of the castle was shaped at that time accordingly to the rules of Renaissance gardens and landscapes of Europe. And the map is showing somehow the geographical distribution of Renaissance castle gardens in the former Hungary during the 16th, 17th century. And we can see very well that the part of nowadays Hungary, which at that time was under Ottoman occupation, presents already such kind of cultural locations like a Renaissance castle and garden. So some cultural backgrounds are very important to mention here. From this map we can see that to Transylvania in the 17th, 18th century belonged, after the research we did, approximately 60 Renaissance castle garden ensembles, and especially the location from Yolo presents three important characteristics which is typical for those periods for the landscape. First of all, I marked in the southwestern hill of the castle the Renaissance terraces at that time. From other hand, we still have the Renaissance terraces were used for agricultural use, of course, and we still have some fruit trees which are descendants of the fruit trees planted at that time, as you can see in the picture from the bottom. And finally, the Renaissance as an ideal of that time was the period when the people opened to the nature. And not only the people, but even the gardens created some gorgeous views and vistas into the landscape, as you can observe very well here in the picture from the middle, a nice and beautiful view scenery to the Carpathian Mountains. After the Renaissance values still existing in the garden, I have to mention a later garden period, the 19th century, the Romantic landscape garden, established here after a few centuries, and doing a tree survey in the garden and having a previous research for the Carpathian Basin, we made a comparison in between the plant use from Yolo, and from other important locations from Carpathian Basin. And if you look at the list, you can see that the most important species specifically used as exotic trees in Carpathian Basin's castle gardens can be found even nowadays in Yolo as well, excepting a few species which found not really good living conditions in the garden. So we are talking about the garden-esque period of the landscape gardens still present in Yolo. Of course, we started, as far as an extensive restoration of the complex has been started a few years ago, we started to research the garden, and already some on-site research were done also. For example, together with the students, we participated in some garden archaeological investigations. Here you can see the exploration of a historic road and pavement, or in the next slide, there is a outdoor bath and fountain from the garden, surveyed also with the help and documented with the help of the students, of course. I would like to highlight here the importance of this cooperation in between the foundation, Transylvanian Foundation, in between the Hungarian Garden Heritage Foundation, and in between the university, because as far as they plan here to create for a place for future education, because I used to say educational process even when we start to teach the people, the visitors, about the value of the gardens. So they would like to establish here educational and a community center, and I think they did in time a first step, and they started to organize such kind of educational and community events, even during the restoration of the castle and during the design process of the garden, which we are very much delighted from. This kind of approach is unusual, not only in Hungary, but I think in the whole Carpathian Basin, and I would like to congratulate for the foundation for such kind of initiatives. And yes, we try to use, as university, this location, together with some other locations as well, as a real research and practical base on site for the students. Because our main goal and issue is to teach historic gardens, to let not just the professionals, but even the visitors to know what a historic garden is. And this cooperation, it can be a first step in order to establish a kind of methodology or a program to renew historic gardens, presenting mainly or even 100% the values of the garden, not other kind of values, not other kind of attractions, bringing from outside into the garden, to try to manifest the values of the garden itself. So this would be the main vision and mission of our cooperation, and we really are very honored to be invited here to speak in this occasion, and we hope that somehow this kind of initiative can be a long-term satellite of this European route of heritage gardens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Attila and Albert, for this very well set up time travel as well, and the insights of this project. I hope that it was also very inspiring for you, so as to share your ideas either now or later on, since this is the moment for the discussion session, and here I seize the opportunity as well to ask whether from the online participants, we have them online joining us, however, not yet sharing their questions via the emails, but we are continuously checking if they are sharing their opinion either now or later on. And then if you are ready for that, we can also share it with you later on if they had some ideas or hints or remarks with regards to the lectures. So my question hereby for dear guests and lecturers and all of you, whether you have any points, remarks for the discussion part now, or would you like to rather head towards the open air programs? I'm happy to give the microphone to any of you if you have any questions to the lectures that we had the possibility to have now. Naturally, not necessarily towards Paola Viola or Viola Paola, Paola Viola at the moment, but we are ready to share them with later on. But we could address it to Maciek or Attila or Albert, or you can also ask each and everyone. Albert would have one, please.
Thank you. I have a question to Maciek. So you mentioned as a potential danger the development of the city. Is there any kind of re-reglementation which can stop such kind of growing of the city? Or and why, in this case, why you are afraid that for the future?
Well, the most important thing is a special local development plan. Yeah? And we have got lots of such documents around our complex. But I have to say that they doesn't work, really. They're very precise, very often, but after time we can see that there's a big hole between this, what is in the document, and this, what is in real. Yeah. So this is one of the thing. Another thing which should save our area should be the form of nature and historical and monument protection. I think that it doesn't work too. So I think that the biggest problem that we have in Poland right now is that our law it's not working as good as we thought. Yeah. So we are trying to talk with the local government. We are trying to cooperate with the local government. And in this moment is all that we can do right now. But we can see that there are so many strange things that are going on around us. For example, we have the area where there is a potential of the flood, and developers love to build their blocks of flats. There is this area is also an area of the best soils that we have at Warsaw, but it doesn't matter. The developers are higher than agriculture. So it is very sad what's going on around, and we really try to do all what we can to do, even if there is a discussion about special local development plan, which is not our, let's say, special local development plan, but it's in our neighborhood. We also go for such a discussion. We also prepare some arguments, what to change, how to change. I think it was 2 years ago, we prepared 50 changes that we propose. Most of them were make it, yeah. They make it, but we can see that we will see what will happen in the future, if they will happen in real, yeah. So exactly, and this is our, yeah, this is the worst thing that we have.
Any other questions you may have, please? Because when it comes to development plans, if I remember it right, we also treated this topic, that it's very nice to have the development plans for the actual sites, but also overall for the destinations. It's also, it could be potentially a theme for further discussions. If you don't have any further questions at the moment, please don't hesitate to raise your hand or give a further sign. If you may have, then I would like to thank your participation and ask Anna Rosa, you may have a question. I just checked, we are connected to the technical team, and no, they did not raise their hands or send any emails through the video. that we have established the system, but they have gave a sign that they're absolutely following the streaming, and they confirmed via multiple channels. So I'm very happy that we could celebrate this annual forum together, also in person, but also virtually. So for your information, we were now more than 60 people all together in here today. So I really appreciate all your cooperation during the preparation works as well. You were very flexible and patient and cooperative in these regards as well. So, and it's not yet finished, so there is still a lot to come. Hopefully you will join us. The program will follow with a rather informal but a guided walk. If you are ready to join us, we would go by bus to the Buda Castle district, where we will have one of our colleagues, founder, curator Attila Vince, who will guide us through the Buda Castle. You'll have the translation through the machines that are still ready to be grabbed downstairs or on the bus. So afterwards, for those who might have other duties or program ideas for Budapest but are welcome for the General Assembly, I would like to remind you that it has been advanced from 5 p.m. to 4:30. So it's true, we say in Hungary when someone blesses them. So you're welcome. So we'll continue with you at the General Assembly at 4:30 at the Monastery Hotel. So please be there on time. Yes, 4:30 instead of 5 p.m. So it has been advanced, and all the online connecting people are aware of it. They have confirmed. So at the Monastery Hotel, so at 4:30 we will be there, and please be prepared, because for all of you who are coming for the evening program, the bus is leaving at 8:16, so at 6 p.m. sharply from the Monastery Hotel. So there will be a gathering at 5:45. So at 5:45, the gathering goes at the reception of the hotel. There will be the same bus that we will take now. And it is really important because there are some scheduled programs and scheduled transportations that cannot wait for us if we cannot leave at 6 p.m. So for those who will be with us for the General Assembly, we will leave together, but try to prepare your warm clothes. And I think that we can accept being less formal for the General Assembly, rather informal for being ready for the excursion, let's put it so, the refreshing air picnic, official dinner for the evening. So I rather say it now because once we are on the way during the walk, I will not necessarily have the occasion to pass by you all. So please be prepared for the General Assembly in a way that right after at 6 we have to go sharply with the bus to the Normafa, which is a park, and I will let Agnes and Eva, who are experts in this domain, and of course Albert, who already gave the lecture, that you share your opinion about Normafa, but they have also prepared some material for you for the walk. So some further surprises to come for the evening, but yet we have the afternoon with sunshine, so I won't take it from you. Thank you very much for your participation, and let's head towards the entrance. Please follow the same lady, Dory, and our colleague Judith, and I will be there too, towards the bus. It will almost be there where you have got off, but on the other side, so it's rather better to keep together. Okay? All the others who are leaving us but joining for the General Assembly at 4:30 will meet there at the hotel, and the others who are not coming for the General Assembly at 5:45, so 5:45 at the hotel entrance. Okay, so I think that Ana Rosa, if you have a word to say. Please.
What else do you want me to say? You said it all. I'm very glad that you came, that you're here. I'm very happy with the organization, and let's go. Yeah, I could do that too. I'm a woman for everything. No, well, I always have things to say, yeah? So don't push me too much. This section here, Lights and Shadows, was meant as a participatory section in which we exchange the challenges that we have, the problems that we have in the management of gardens, etc. Today we have had 3 presentations, but actually this, in my opinion, this is one of the most important aspects that we can share in these forums. So I just wanted to encourage you for the next forum to please share these perspectives and challenges with all of us, so to be a little bit more proactive in sending us your thoughts and your experiences. So for next time, we hope that we will have not 3, but 5 or 6 of your experiences. So that's it. I leave it here.
Thank you, but you should absolutely be ensure that it's a teamwork. And also for the technicians, but if you let me add it, on behalf of the Hungarian Garden Heritage Foundation, I appreciate this credit that I had from Agnes, Albert, Eva, all the team, because they believe that we can do it even with this upcoming challenges. So the program is still continuing, so get your coats, please, and let's head towards the bus, but thank you very much for all.